Hello and welcome in, and we are back here building in The Sims 4, and today we are building the Sakura Springs Wellness Retreat. This again is another bucket list item. I have wanted to build one of these for a while, and I thought, let's do it in spring. We're gonna get cherry blossom, really gorgeous kind of build. And I just thought, why not? Let's do it. So here we are actually building this in Komorebi. This, I do believe, is a 50 by 50 lot. This is the one, and I'm gonna point it out right now. If you're looking at this on the gallery, it's the one with the giant trees in front of it. I thought they had fixed this, but I've since uploaded this to my library, and up to the gallery, and I've now got a sneaking feeling it's only on new saves, not on old saves, and this is the same save, I think, for a while, from the beginning of this. I've just kind of built in the same the same save file. I've never had any corruption issues or anything like that, so I've never had to get rid of it. So yeah, I have a feeling it may well be that issue into there, but yeah, if you have a look on the gallery, it's the one with the giant trees in it. But yeah, so what exactly are we building? We are kind of building a bit of everything. So this lot is a custom venue. It can also be run as a small business. It can also be run as a spa, a gym. Yeah. Oh, and an ocean bath. Sorry, forgot that one. Bathhouse. Into there as well. So yeah, I had a lot of fun building this. Now this is it's kind of my first time building something in this style, and I think I've said it before, I was always conscious when it came to building in this style that, culturally sensitive, I am not aware of any sort of issue. My brain just does not commute. So I was a bit what do I do? How do I do it? But I've kind of did a little bit of research, and I think I've kind of got this okay. Let me know what you think in here, and yeah. What we have at the moment is our kind of ground floor and most of the kind of buildings all in. So this is 5 buildings all around a kind of quad courtyard in here, which I absolutely love. And it's all kind of on terraces, so you've got nice little walkways everywhere, and yeah, I absolutely love how this turned out in the end. If you did as well, then make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my channel. It would mean so very, very much to me. But what I kind of had in my mind for this was very much a kind of Japanese spa, kind of in here with lots of low horizontal buildings, with some soft sort of roofing, kind of nice little curves with wide overhangs in there as well, that kind of thing. That was what I had in my head when I was sort of researching and looking up these kind of buildings. In here, you're going to see I'm now coming in with the roofing. This took a while. In here, you might notice it's more buildings than I think I've ever built on a single lot. And also, the roofing, I kind of just come in and then I come around and change, and I place these little bits along the front here. It just makes it feel a little bit more realistic. I was very much using the internet to help in here, so if there is anything wrong, don't necessarily blame me. It's what I'm nicely saying in there, not quite my fault. Into there, but yeah, really nice soft low hanging roofs as well. And you'll see when we come in to do wallpaper and stuff, we're using a lot of sort of natural kind of materials, lots of wood and sort of stonework and things like that as well, and sand and bits and pieces as well into there. But yeah, loving how these sort of are all coming together in there. I wasn't entirely sure if I liked the back section here of this building. It feels very poppy outy, which normally I'm fine with, but yeah, let's just put it this way, it made for some interesting interior work, and I'm going to leave it at that. This build was, whilst it was fun and interesting to build, I think because it was slightly different, because it was a different style, because I'm just not used to this style, I guess, in building, it threw me off a little bit into there. Yeah, let's put it at that. But yes, so roofing, we've gone for this gorgeous, nice dark sort of red roof tiles, which I think works perfectly with sort of the style we're getting. Now, there is a few little issues, and I will point them out to you as we go along, as I normally do. I have gone for a open kind of platform here. What I should have done is done train paint first, because I couldn't retro go in and do it afterwards, and I did try, and you'll sort of see there are bits where it's done. And also I wanted to put in a little pond, and it just did not feel right to me at all, so that's kind of missing, which is a bit of a shame because I would have loved to have put one in, but you know, it is what it is, and also these are not in the right place. But that's fine. And then also underneath all of the sort of buildings is just like bare grass, and I should have maybe put terrain paint in after them, but yeah, it just was not really working for me into there. But we do manage to get in this sort of Zen garden here in the middle, so you can sort of see here, I can't place this underneath where the sort of pathways are, so I kind of just had to improvise and change around a few things into there, and I figured let's build a nice little central kind of area in here for them to kind of sit out on, and yeah, that's really what we did. Very nice and open and things like that as well in the middle here. Now, I'm going to make a suggestion that this is not 100% square, and I had a little bit of an issue with trying to make it square and trying to get this in the right place in the lot, but you know, it is what it is into there. We've now gone back to the roofing because stupid me forgot the trim, so there we go, placing that in here. But I thought this nice central area in here would work out really well, and then we have placed in these stones instead of the original ones in here. And now I am using pretty much Snowy Escape for the whole exterior of this, so the columns, the stairs, the spandrels, and obviously this wallpaper. Now some of this does slightly change to the full wood version in there, just so that it looks a little bit different. And you are going to see me pull out a lot of trees here. We don't really use all of them. I've got to be honest, I did not find many cherry blossom trees which I liked. I'm going to be fair, I struggled with that bit into there, but I thought a nice little statue there in the middle, and then I was going to place these, but I realised at this point they do not light up, so we ended up going for these ones, which are the real versions rather than the debug, so I do have to pay a little bit more for that, but yawn, that's fine into there. And then we get them in a few other bits and places around as well, and windows. Now I often get confused by these windows as to which one is which, so you're often going to see me here trying to peek through the windows. These are the wrong ones, these are the right ones. I kind of smushed them together in there. I did also realise that I had not made this symmetrical, but you know, I tried into there, and yeah, it is what it is in there. So it should have been symmetrical on both sides of this front main building, but you know, it is That's fine in there. So what do we get on the interior? We get 2 ocean baths in, we get 2 hot tubs, we get a yoga studio, a spin gym class thing set up in there. We get a massage, and we also get a pedicure and manicure station in. We also get in a little bar, and we have massive changing rooms into there. So there is quite a lot in this build. So yeah, that's gonna be coming up into there. But as I say, cherry blossom from this pack, I was actually surprised at how little there was in like terms of options for me in here. And I was going to try and create some nice little gardens out the front here. This is where I was going to put the lake on, or like the pond on the left hand side, kind of going under the building. It just never really fitted to me in here, so I ended up getting rid of it, and I actually deleted that from the footage. So yeah, now I'm trying to find cherry blossom, and Sims team, come on please. Trying to make this work, they just all looked really weird and awkward, and then there's some of them that are like so just yucky. And so yeah, basically this was our options that I kind of settled on, and I do end up placing a few of these ones around the place on like the inside, but I had to like scale them all down, and it just never, yeah. I really do like the bright red Japanese. I think it's supposed to be a maple. Maple trees are quite big, so I'm not entirely sure if that is an accurate size, but yeah. And then you'll notice here I tried to actually place it underneath some of the sort of flooring under the, it wasn't going to work. And in the end we just went for some stonework in and around, just to kind of break up, because there was not many plants I really wanted for this sort of area into here. So I thought just breaking it up with some stonework, just to make it look a little less empty. And then we do get in a few of these other little plants here and there, just to sort of soften it and make it a little bit more low-lying plants rather than just trees in the front here, just to make it look a little bit better in there. And then also placing out these sort of stone lights. I've got a feeling these are going to have like a little oil lamp in them, which may take forever to light up in the evening, but hey, this is The Sims and they come on automatically. And I am glad for that. But then we've also got this big bamboo plant here in the middle. I thought that was like a good luck charm kind of plant, so I thought, well, let's place that in here. But yeah, so we've got some bamboo in into there. And now this is the next glitch I had, because we had the open sort of platforms or foundations. They weren't able to work, so in the end I had to just change some of the foundations to be a little bit better. But now we're going to work on this huge big back building, which is going to be our 2 changing rooms, I guess is what we can really say in here. So yeah, one thing, we have 2 separate showers, 3 bathrooms from each basically room in here, and then we have these massive big sort of changing rooms where you have your lockers and stuff like that. And this one actually has a little bit of an outdoor seating where I place some benches on as well for that as well. Into there, we're using a lot of dark wood in this area as well. So you will actually notice I flick between the 2 rooms. Basically they are identical in terms of kind of what goes in here. I just thought it would be a really nice sort of way of doing it, and it would mean I didn't have to find all of the items again as we go through. Now they are slightly different sizes and different shapes, but I think they kind of work together in there nicely. And some more bamboo just to kind of break us up and give you a little bit more of a privacy screen, I guess is really what I used this for. And then just some more in sort of the corners, little pots here and there for that, and then just the individual bathroom stalls. Now I'm not entirely sure whether they will go into like the main changing area and then go into like the other one for like going to the toilet and stuff, because I haven't really set out a gender for the main area, like the lockers and stuff. So that is something maybe to worry about, but I prefer the doors that I used rather than the sort of, I think they're Spa ones that just didn't look quite right to me. Anyway, so now we're placing it in the sinks and the bathrooms and showers and doing bits and pieces like that. So I actually kind of have fun copying and pasting a lot of this and trying to make them look individual whilst also being the same. You're gonna notice a little bit of an issue here. The two rugs for some reason did not look like the same size, and yeah, I went backwards and forwards into there. But yeah, so I've kind of been hesitant, but I feel like I'm a little bit of research and a lot of kind of online googling at the same time. So you might notice my mouse will disappear, usually just before a cut. That's probably because I'm going to spend the next like 10 minutes looking up bathrooms or something completely sort of random that you don't know about. In here, it tends to happen in quite a few of my builds, I've got to be honest with you. So yeah, you should probably brace for that. But I'm such a normally a distracted kind of builder. I'm somebody who will have to research quite a lot going into, and also kind of just whilst I'm doing it, because sometimes I can build something and I'm like, right, this is gonna be a modern build, and then I do the shell and then I look at it and go, yeah, we're gonna do a mid-century for this one. Yeah, it happens, and it throws me completely off. Anyway, into there. Now, this middle section, I wasn't really sure what to do with. I was thinking like a seating area, kind of like a kind of chill out sort of zone. In the end, I kind of put this little table in here for them to have like tea. And I've placed a few of the sort of tea pots sort of around the build as well. But I kind of wanted this little table in here, maybe for like meetings or something like that. And I've got to be honest, I've never really used this piece before, so I thought this would work in here really, really nicely. And then I've used this big bamboo sort of screen or like wicker screen in the front here, just to break up the view from the doors. Now I have checked, it is still usable. Your Sims will just walk around the edges of it, so that's absolutely fine into there. And then some big plants against the back of the sort of the other windows in there. I don't actually place any curtains in this build whatsoever. I feel like you don't really need any. One, you're in such an isolated place that nobody's going to really peer in the windows, and two, it just didn't really feel like you would need them in there. But yeah, so I thought a nice little tea section in here for you, and then yeah, you can relax in there, maybe after your workout or after you've been in like the hot springs and things like that. You can sort of just relax in there. And yeah, like if you've got friends with you and you're coming on like a girls weekend, well, not a weekend because there's no accommodation on here, but like if you're coming away, that sort of thing, as a group, that's what I was thinking into there. Now, one of these middle bathrooms is a little bit smaller, and so I've actually had to place the items, I think it's the towel and then like the hand moisturizer sort of set from Spider on the actual shelves. So it does still have technically the same items, it was just a case of they are a wee bit smaller into there. Now I was thinking of the above ground hot tubs. I went for these in ground ones. Again, I don't think I've really ever very sparsely used them into here, and these kind of rooms felt quite dark and they were quite small, so I figured I would just place in the hot tub a little bamboo, just to basically a room had to have bamboo in it, into there. And then I have created this sort of covered sort of seating area in here, and yeah, decided that we were going to place the roof over the top just to make it look a little bit different into there, and a little bit more sheltered. Maybe if you wanted to sit outside but it's raining or something, you can kind of come into here as well. And a few more little plants. Now these I think are olive trees, which wouldn't necessarily fit, but you know, I had to make a sacrifice. I needed some different planting. I don't think I've ever said that before. I need more plants in this game. We desperately do into here. But yeah, there's the first tea set. And then I wanted some like bonsai trees. And we have one where you can kind of like cut it yourself, but it wouldn't really work down in this little hole. So I decided on these little sort of topiary kind of trees. I feel like they are very old, but they're not officially bonsais, they're more like topiary, but you kind of get what I mean into here, because I did try to put in as many sort of bonsais as I possibly could, or little trees and bamboo and sort of things like that. I also thought you needed some little signage. Maybe you don't know where you're going, and I just figured that would work in here. But now we're going to get in the yoga aspect of this in here. So this is now back in the front main building in here, and we have got in the instructors one, and then I've got 6 other kind of mats for you, and then I do also place some little kind of buffs on the back here, just if you maybe didn't want to take part in a class but you just wanted to meditate or something like that, you can definitely do that in there. And this is also accessible via the main kind of hallway entranceway in there. I do place another door in as well, but you can also access it from the outside, so you have multiple entrance points into there. And yeah, a nice big colon, there's a semicolon I think in there. I don't necessarily know why, but we do in there. And then we have the exercise room. So this is on the other side. Now these rooms are supposed to be the same size, but well, I screwed up and they're different. Anyway, it was too late to change it at this point into here. Now one thing, I'm not entirely sure your Sims can exit this side. I did place a bench out there, but I didn't playtest it. I just don't know if they can, but they can use the back. So that was really what I was worried about into there. And now we have got a few little workout posters in here, and I go through and I actually change the flooring in a couple of the rooms. So this like the more wicker kind of flooring in there, it just fits in with that soft kind of materials, the wood, the stone, that sort of thing that we're wanting. And I figured in here this was looking ridiculously large, and I was still contemplating how I was going to get this to kind of work. And so in the end I actually decided we're going to need more bathrooms, because there really wasn't that many in here. And yeah, I decided to add 2 more just sort of generic toilets in the front here, and then these 2 back rooms are the massage rooms and the manicure pedicure sort of area into here. Now this is not the biggest point of this build. In fact, if I'm being fair, it's the smallest in here, but it does still work. It is functional into there. And so I have placed 2 sort of chairs in one, and I've used also the bamboo here to screen these windows, because I thought a little bit more privacy on here. And then another little table just for sort of knickknacks, sort of like your lotions and towels and that sort of thing to come into here as well. We do place a few other bits and pieces, some plants, little fern, because I thought they looked all quite nice. And yeah, that's going in here. And then we basically put out the same kind of items. We've also got the hair clip in here and some nail varnish and stuff, just in different colours and things like that for you to use and to pick up on there. But all again very calming, very neutral, and I've tried to keep the kind of clutter to a minimum. I feel like this was going to be one of those builds where it was a little bit more minimalistic. It was a little bit more subtle, a little bit quieter than what I would normally do, and I think I've pulled it off. Let me know what you think down in the description into here. But now coming over to this main section. Now, I had no concept of what I really wanted for this, and you kind of needed an entrance kind of area, like a check-in area. So I had in my mind that it was going to be a small business, because I feel like that's something that would work in here. Like maybe you hire a masseuse or somebody who has those skills to kind of do it. You hire a bartender, and then the rest of it they can kind of just use themselves. That was kind of what I had in my head when I was doing this. So I have placed down a computer desk in here. I felt like that's more of a check-in kind of area rather than the actual sort of kiosk, which I do get in as well. So as I said, I have kind of contradicted myself in this, because I have also created the custom venue sort of checklist, like daily activity list, which then means you don't need business and hobbies, but you need eventual weights, and you can kind of mix it up for however you want to play. I mean, I just build the lots, you can play with them however you want, in whatever style, however you want. Basically, you can kind of do whatever you like with them in here, but yeah, you have options, let's put it that way. And now I finally found the little foot bath for that as well. And now I had this section here, and I was like, what do I do? Gyms normally have like a smoothie bar. I thought that looked a little bit weird, so I figured let's place in a bar, just a nice relaxing one. You can maybe have a cup of tea or coffee or something, and relax in here. And then I've also got a few little tables, bits and pieces for that. So most of the items we used are Snowy Escapes, Spa Day, Business and Hobbies, and Eventual Weights. And then there's like base game and a few other bits and pieces. I think like the Sneak Bathroom played a kind of role in basically all of the bathrooms in here. I'm gonna be honest, I can't tell you any other packs. So yeah, they're pretty much all of the main ones that we used in here. But obviously down in when you download this off the gallery, you'll be able to find what packs and what items from what pack was used as well into there. And yeah, I do go through and I do change all of the lighting. So you'll see I'm trying to use different lights. It wasn't really working for what I wanted, so yeah, I come through and basically put in baby spotlights and other lights in here as well. And yeah, shoes off signs going here and there. And I'm just kind of randomly pulling out the odd bit of clutter and the artwork and the odd just little bit of piece, just to kind of make it feel a little bit more realistic. And my little clutter brain was kind of going, this does not look right, this does not feel right, I need more clutter, I need more items. I probably should have stopped a little while ago. But now we're going to jump over into the last area in here. Now these are the 2 ocean baths. So I kind of had in my head that they were going to be in the same room, but then thought they should probably be separate from each other. So I've kind of placed this big screen down the middle, and then I've kind of made 2 identical kind of sections. So they both have the same items on, they both have the same chair, the same towels, the same table, everything is in there. But this is available right now on the gallery, so I will let you go and enjoy the screenshots. But until next time, stay happy and stay building, everyone. Bye!